Thank you. Okay, guys, it's very exciting to be here. Normally, our CEO, Saeed, does the first remarks after an important event like this. He's currently going to be back this afternoon. We just launched a new office in Abu Dhabi, which is pretty exciting around fintech, as well as an office in Cleveland with Cleveland Clinic. So he'll be back shortly, and I will be here to talk to you a little bit about our supply chain and logistics program, which is pretty exciting because this is our first expo. So this program didn't even exist at the start of the year. It was just kind of an idea that we had. So it's amazing how much we've grown, how we brought together a lot of these industry leaders and really working together to digitally transform the supply chain and logistics industry. I'd like to talk to you guys maybe a little bit how we got started and just kind of the history on this. So I've worked at Plug and Play for about the last 2.5 years or so, and mostly under our IoT program, which we realize touches on so many different industries. But there's really important for us to stay focused and have specific use cases for these technologies. So when Maersk came to visit us around Christmas time with their Chief Digital Officer, Ibrahim Gökhan, he looked at our verticals and said, you guys have retail, fintech, which looks into blockchain technology. You have mobility looking into autonomous driving. You have IoT. I mean, these are all key parts of supply chain. So what if we bring this together and build our own program for the supply chain and logistics industry? So that's why we founded this program actually just on March 9th, as you can see, with just 2 partners, Maersk and Ericsson, who are here today. We actually validated this before starting it. We did a lot of analysis of the industry. We saw companies like Flexport emerge, now valued around $1 billion, that has just raised another $100 million recently, that actually pitched at our event in March. So maybe we can take some credit. No. But also, we had a lot of demand from corporate partners. We went to our other programs, like specifically to our new materials program with our partner ExxonMobil, who said one of the biggest pain points they had was to end-to-end tracking of their rail cars, that sometimes their rail cars would get lost, and they wouldn't know what's happening to them for a couple weeks. So we did a session. We actually brought together Maersk Chief Digital Officer, some executives from ExxonMobil, Ericsson, and we had a brainstorming session around this program. And we realized that this is a great opportunity. And all those companies are here today. And I'm very excited to announce that this is all the founding partners that we brought together that we see as our board members. So we collectively define this industry with our partners, which is pretty amazing. As you can see, a lot of them are industry-leading companies from key parts of the supply chain. And we go through our standard process here at Plug and Play. So we normally source around 1,000 startups, meaning we look through our other programs globally. We essentially get inbound applications. We work with venture capital firms, kind of all the above, to find the leading startups in the industry. And then on May 18th, we send the top 100 list to our partners, who ranked each of the startups 1 to 5. We then had our selection day in June, where we invited 30 startups and eventually accelerated 16 startups that went through our program that you'll get to see today, in addition to 10 new startups that we're going to evaluate for our next program. Because one thing we've realized is it's important for us to continuously evaluate startups and see what the new hot opportunities are within the market. This is just a video, if it plays. Around our kind of some highlights from this year.
Is at this inflection point where we're going to start seeing things take off.
We see supply chain and logistics as a huge opportunity, not only for ourselves, but also for our customers.
In the trucking business, and we're an old, traditional, and somewhat staid business, and I think we're ripe for disruption. The question is, where is it going to come from?
We've had a great time here this week at Plug and Play. Union Pacific is very excited about our partnership, and we're looking forward to the startups in supply chain and logistics.
It's been an educational experience. What's been really exciting is listening to other corporate members' experience, engaging with startups, and how they've taken both ideas and partnerships out of this.
I'm at Plug and Play because the company, CMA CGM, is investing and looking at startups and looking at areas where we can innovate. A very established industry that started out in 3000 BC when goods were being transferred from one location to the other. We want to use the latest technology, we want to partner with companies, we want to get inspired to motivate and change the industry and evolve to the future.
There's nothing better than combining the old school corporate mentality with the startup world and finding everybody here just really engaged into, I want to fix this, I want to be better at this.
But if you look at the biggest rise that's going to happen in the next 10 years, that's digitalization of logistics. This is FinTech 2010. This is where we are now. This is LogTech 2017. Welcome to the future.
We are here to create an ecosystem, whether you are a startup or a corporation who is interested in technologies that will be transforming supply chains and logistics for the new age of Industry 4.0. Please join us. We would love to have you.
Great. So there's some highlights. A lot of you are all back here today. In the first program, we had the first 4 specific technology areas that we saw as key trends that were in demand by our corporate partners. You can see blockchain for supply chain, end-to-end supply chain optimization, IoT asset tracking were very key kind of components that we went about to source as a result of the corporate demand. We also surveyed our partners to see kind of what the key trends were that they saw within the industry, and we found 4 kind of additional trends that we saw as very common among all of our partners that they thought were important for this program. Of course, supply chain is very broad in logistics, so there's a lot of other areas that we look into. So we're going to be sourcing all of these and other programs within the next batch of the program. This is just the vision we've had since the beginning, is to be the world's leading ecosystem for the digital transformation of end-to-end supply chains and world trade. So we see this, it's very important to have the leaders within the key sectors of the supply chain. So we've actually strategically gone out and kind of found the right partners within the key parts. I apologize to any partners that I know like Maersk does a lot more than just shipping. DHL is a lot more than just the leading postal service in Germany. But we needed to group you guys somehow. And but it's amazing. We have the leading railroads, we have the leading shipping companies in the world, we have leading actual suppliers and manufacturing companies all coming together to engage in this innovation. So I think we've succeeded for the most part in this goal. One thing we've realized with supply chain and logistics is it is a global industry. Our partners, a lot of them, they have presence in every single country in the world, or at least close to it, and it's important to understand where these innovations are coming from. You never know when the next big opportunity is coming, so that's why we work with these international locations. We hosted a big event with our China team in Shanghai. We found a lot of amazing robotics startups that could be utilized in the warehouse and other amazing technologies. We've actually flown in for this event today. And of course, we work very closely with our Stuttgart office, with Startup Autobahn, and a lot of the automotive industry with DHL, with Daimler, Porsche, BASF, Hewlett-Packard, etc. And then with our program in Berlin, we'd really focus on the rail industry and mobility and the future of logistics, where we work with like Siemens and Alba, who's here, and Bombardier and Deutsche Bahn, one of the leading railroads, and the Swiss railways. So we work very closely, we collaborate, so we can find leading startups and ultimately make this a global program, not just startups from Silicon Valley. I know the corporates know this very well. We see an opportunity gap between the speed of a traditional corporation that moves at a much slower pace than a traditional startup. So of course there's disruptions that come into the market, and our goal is for our partners to continuously digitally transform their business so they can take advantage of this, so that they can find the next opportunity and they can sustain. The average corporation only lasts for 20 years, so I think it's pretty amazing. Some of our partners have been around for hundreds of years. We have a lot of very historic companies here. Union Pacific was actually founded by Abraham Lincoln, as they mentioned to us. We've had a lot of, like, the United States Postal Service, one of the main fixtures, and DHL of our society. So I think we have a lot of very historic organizations we're working with that essentially we want to sustain and work with startups and continuously digitally transform their businesses. I'd like to thank all of our partners. These are the main contacts we have at each of the companies. So if you're a corporate, you want to connect to the company, we want you to make sure you loop these guys in. We sometimes have the C-level executives engaging with us, sometimes different business units. It's always different. It depends on the corporation. However, these are our main contacts from our 18 corporate partners. So yeah, please loop them in if you guys have any questions or you want to engage with them, or if you're a startup, for example, talking to the company. And then last, I just wanted to say this is our team that's leading this initiative. Farzin and I are both leading the program together. Farzin has many years of experience working as an executive at companies like Boeing, leading startups. He's a real supply chain master. So I think we have a really great team to kind of tackle this. And yeah, with that, I'd like to invite up our keynote speaker today, Pierre, who will talk about DHL and how they're engaging with us in both Germany in the Stuttgart program with Startup Autobahn, as well as here in Silicon Valley in our global supply chain and logistics program. Pierre has a lot of experience working at leading technology companies like AOL, Microsoft, and now he's leading the digital transformation at DHL. So Pierre, I'd like to welcome you up.